Alright, so we have been given this function, then we have been asked to find the inverse of this function. So the inverse function. So what we're supposed to do first of all, in order to find the inverse of this function, first of all, here where it says f of x, down here we are supposed to write y. Replace f of x with y, and then you say equal to, this is equal to 4x plus 2, like that. So after replacing f of x with y, you are now go ahead and switch y with x. So where there is x, you replace with y. Where there is y, you replace with x. So we are going to have something like this. So this is going to be x is equal to 4y plus 2, like that. So after writing that, we are going to isolate y. So we're going to isolate the y. So how can we isolate the y variable? Yeah, so here we're going to take this 2 to the other side of the equation. This will be x minus 2. So since here it was positive, and take it to the other side of the equation to be negative, and then you say is equal to 4y. All right, so after writing like that, you divide both sides by 4 in order to get rid of, in order to isolate the y variable. So this one, this 4 you cancel, leaving behind y. So this will be x minus 2 over 4 is equal to y, like that. So after writing like that, you're there, and then you say therefore the inverse is equal to x minus 2 over 4, like that. So this is the inverse. So that's how you can find the inverse of this function, like that. Okay, so let's move on to question 2. Let's say we have question 2. So this is 2. F of x is equal to 3x squared plus 8, like that. So how can you find the inverse of this function? So in order to find the inverse of this function, again, here where it says f of x, you replace with the y, and then you say is equal to 3x squared plus 8. Okay, so again, after writing like this, you switch. Where there is y, you switch with x. Where there is x, we switch with y. So this is going to be x is equal to 3y squared plus 8. All right, so again here you're supposed to take this 8 to the other side of the equation. All right, so here so this is going to be x minus 8 is equal to 3y squared, like that. So after writing like that, we're going to divide both sides by 3 in order to isolate this y. So this 3 and this 3 will cancel, leaving behind the y squared. So this will be y is this will be x minus 8 over 3 is equal to y squared. Now you notice here that we don't y squared. We just want y this to the power 1. Okay, not y squared. So how can we get that y is to the power 1, like that? So in order to get rid of these two, we're going to introduce the square roots, like this. So this 2 and this square root will cancel, leaving behind the y. So this will be the square root of x minus 8 over 3 is equal to y, like that. Okay, so therefore you say the inverse of f of x is equal to the square root of x minus 8 over 3. All right, so like that. So we move on. Let's go to question let's try question 3. Let's say we have 3. So let's say we have f of x. We have been given it's easy, 7x squared minus 2, like that. So then you have been asked to find the inverse of this function. So how can you find the inverse of this function? Again, here where there is f of x, you replace with y, and then you say y is equal to 7x squared minus 2. All right, so after that you switch. Where there is y, you replace with x. Where there is x, you replace with y. So this is going to be x is equal to 7x. All right, so this is going to be 7x. So 7y raised to the power 2 minus 2. and then you take this 2 to the other side of the equation. So this will be x minus or x plus 2, like that. So since it was negative here, when you take to the other side of the equation to be positive, so x plus 2 is equal to 7y squared. You divide both sides by 7 in order to isolate the y variable. So this and this will cancel, leaving behind x plus 2 over 7 is equal to y squared. So again, in order to get rid of this square, you are going to introduce the square roots, like that. So this and this will cancel, leaving behind y. So this will be x plus 2 over 7 is equal to, so this will be equal to y, like that. So therefore the inverse of this function is equal to the inverse of f of x, this is x, is equal to x plus 2 over 7, like that. As simple as that. So let's so that's how you can find the inverse of these functions. So let's say we have question 4, like that. Yeah, so f of x, you have been given f of x to be, let's say we have let's try a square root this time, x plus 9 plus 5. So how can you find the inverse of this logical function? How can you find the inverse? So the same process applies. So here where there is y, f of x you replace with y, and then you say is equal to x plus 9 plus 5. This 5 is outside the square root, right? It's not part of the square root. So here, after writing like this, you switch where there is y, you switch with x. You just swap like that. So this will be x is equal to the square root of y plus 9 plus 5. All right. So after writing like that, you take this 5 to the other side of the equation. So this will be x minus 5. Yeah, so this is positive. When you take it to the other side, it will be negative, is equal to the square root of y plus 9. All right. So after writing like that, we want to isolate the y variable again. So how can we isolate the y variable? So in order to isolate the y variable, we're going to raise both sides to the power 2, like that. Okay, so this multiplied by this, a radical multiplied by a radical, the radical will disappear, the square root will disappear. So this will cancel, leaving behind x minus 5 squared is equal to y plus 9. Okay, so after writing like that, we now then take this 9 to the other side of the equation. So this will be x minus 5 raised to the power 2 is equal to this will be negative 9. When you take this 9 to the other side of the equation, so this will be negative 9 x minus 5 raised to the power 2 minus 9 is equal to y. So therefore the inverse of this function, the inverse of f of x is equal to x minus 5 raised to the power 2 minus 9, like that. So if you want, you can go ahead and expand this this a, there is no problem. So if you want, you can leave it like this. If you want, you can go ahead and expand it further. Okay, so let's try one more question, one last question. Let's say we have question question 5. Let's try just one question. So let's say we have f of x is equal to the cube root of 7 plus 2x minus 3. Okay, like that. So how can you find the inverse of this function? So in order to find the inverse of this function, the same process applies. Here where it says f of x, you replace with y, and then you say is equal to the cube root of 7 plus 2x minus 3. All right. So after writing like that, you switch where there is y, you switch with x. Where there is x, you switch with y. Where there is y, you switch with x. All right. So this is going to be x is equal to the cube root of 7 plus 2y minus 3. So after writing like this, we take this 3 to the other side of the equation. This will be x plus 3 is equal to the cube root of 7 plus 2y. Alright, so this is the cube root. So the cube root of 7 plus 2y. So how can you get rid of this cube root? So in order to get rid of this, we're going to multiply. We're going to raise this side by 3 and then this side by 3 again, like that. So this and this would cancel, would disappear. So this and this would disappear, leaving behind x plus 3 raised to the power 3 is equal to 7 plus 2y, like that. Okay, so after that we're going to take this 7 to the other side of the equation. So this will be x plus 3y, or x plus 3 raised to the power 3 minus 7 is equals to 2y. Okay, so after that, let's just take this to this at here. Let me just write it here. X plus 3 raised to the power 3 minus 7 is equals to 2y. So I'll just written this here for the sake of space. So here we are going to say, so we want to isolate the y variable. Okay, we just want it to be alone by itself. So we're going to divide both sides by 2. Okay, so this 2 and this 2 cancel, leaving behind x plus 3 cubed minus 7 over 2 is equal to y. So therefore, the inverse of this function, f of x, the inverse of this function is equal to x plus 3 cubed over 2 minus 7, like that. So that is the inverse of this function, like that. So that's how we can find the inverse of this function. As simple as that. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and comment.